Started the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Jadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Śrī Rādhā Kṛṣṇa Pādā Sahagana Lalita Śrī Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kantana Gaurangi Śrī Rādhe Vṛndāvaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Prabhupada Sahasradevi Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadipa Satadeshtarani Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. All right. So we'll start. Anybody would like to start the reading from this verse? My lower my hand. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I can read once, and if somebody wants to repeat or read one more time, they can go ahead. So we'll cover today two things I'm considering in. One is Nectar of Instruction, verse number 11. This is the last verse in Nectar of Instruction. And if time permits, yesterday there was Bahulastami as well on the appearance day of Radhakunda. So we'll see if we can just cover a little bit about that, if time permits. So Nectar of Instruction, verse 11. Krishnasyochai pranaya vasatihi preyasibhyo piradha kundam chasya munibhir abhitas tadrug eva vyadhayai yat preshtairapi alam asulabham kim punar bhakti bhajam tat premedam sakridapi saraha snatur avishkaroti. Anybody else wants to read? Okay, so anybody else wants to go ahead and read synonyms? Please raise your hand and you can. Yep, go ahead, Mataji.
I can. Krishnasya, O Lord of Shri Krishna, Uchai, very high, Pranaya Vasati, object of love, Preyasibhya, out of the many lovable gopis, Api, certainly, Radha, Srimati Radharani, Kundam, lake, Cha, also, Asyaha, of her, Munibihi, by great sages, Abhitaha, in all respects, Tadrik Eva, similarly, Vyadhayi is described, Yat, which, Preshthai, by the most advanced devotees, Api, even, Alam, enough, Asulabham, difficult to obtain, Kim, what, Punaha, again, Bhakti Bhajam, for persons engaged in devotional service, Tat, that, Prema, love of Godhead, Idam, this, Sakrit, once, Api, even, Saraha, lake, Shant, Snatuhu, Snatu, of one who has bathed, Avishkaroti, arouses.
You want to read the translation too?
Yeah, Prabhu, I can read.
Yeah, please.
Translation. Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Vrajabhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every aspect, her divine Kunda is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radhakunda is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
Thank you, Madhu. Anybody else wants to read the purport? It's not a lot. It's not a big purport, so maybe we can just go with two people. I think. Yeah. Anybody wants to start reading the
Okay,
purport?
I will start from
Yeah, please go ahead.
purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. Why is Radhakunda so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radhakunda, is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radhakunda and Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radhakunda is very rarely attained, even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidhi Bhakti.
Maybe somebody
Yeah,
else
somebody can
can
continue.
go. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Yeah. Thank you, Madhu.
It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of gopis if he at once takes a bath in Radhakund. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radhakund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. It is most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in this connection that Śrī Rādhakunda is the most select place for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends, Sakhis, and confidential serving maids, Manjaris of Srimati Radharani. Living entities who are eager to return home to the transcendental kingdom of God, Golok Vrindavan, by means of attaining their spiritual bodies, Siddha Deh, should live at Radhakund, take shelter of the confidential serving maids of Sri Radha, and take their direction, and under their direction engage constantly in her service. This is the most exalted method for those engaged in devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that even great sages and great devotees like Narad and Sanaka do not get an opportunity to come to Radhakund to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to Radhakund and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna, exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radhakund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and give up all material conceptions, taking shelter of Śrī Rādhā and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Śrī Rādhā, in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the banks of Radhakund. The conclusion is that to live on the banks of Radhakund and to bathe there daily constitute the highest perfection of devotional service. It is a difficult position to attain, even for great sages and devotees like Narad. Thus, there is no limit to the glory of Sri Radhakund. By serving Radhakund, one can get an opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. That's it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So we'll just go around to see if anybody wants to share any reflections or has anything to share on what we just read. Anybody wants to volunteer? So I'll just go made some notes on understanding of what I gathered from this verse. So as we discuss, you can stop me and reflect on what I share, and we can continue the discussion. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So as I was going through this verse, the one thing that stood out for me was it is basically trying to show the most exalted position of Radhakund in all the different places in Vrindavan or in Mathura or other places that have been mentioned in Nectar of Instruction. And Radhakund happens to be considered the topmost in terms of the spiritual hierarchy of the places. So as we were reading verse number 9 of Nectar of Instruction, there the verse focused on giving sort of like a spiritual hierarchy of different places, and also like slightly gives reasoning also, like why one place is considered spiritually superior compared to the other. So it starts off with saying Mathurapuri. It is saying Mathurapuri is considered to be more spiritually elevated than Vaikuntha Loka as well, because it says Lord appeared here, right? So that's why Mathurapuri is considered better than spiritually considered to Vaikuntha. Then it says, goes on to say that the transcendental forest of Vrindavan, where Krishna performs his Ras Leela pastimes, they are considered even superior compared to Mathurapuri, where the Lord appeared. So continuing the same hierarchy, it says about Govardhan Hill. So Govardhan Hill is more superior to the transcendental forest of Vrindavan, where Krishna is performing his Ras Leela pastimes. The reason being that Krishna himself lifted this Govardhan Hill for 7 days, and it was also the site of performing various loving pastimes of Sri Krishna. So it is considered superior compared to the forest of Vrindavan. And even superior to Govardhan Hill, as per Nectar of Instruction, verse number 9, is Śrī Rādhakunda, because it stands as the supreme. Like, its position is considered supreme because it says it's overflooded with ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. So this is the place where it's also mentioned in the very first line. It is saying because it is belonging to Srimati Radharani. So anything that belongs to Srimati Radharani, since she being the most dearest, to Lord Shri Krishna, anything that belongs to her is non-different from her. So, for example, it could be Radhakund, that is the lake that was created by Srimati Radharani, is also very dear to Krishna because of Srimati Radharani herself being very dear to Krishna. So, in that sense, one of the reasons why Radhakund is glorified is because it is very, very dear to Krishna, and anything that is most dear to Krishna, even more than it says that the Shyamakund, which Krishna created himself, he likes Radhakund more than Shyamakund, because it was created by Srimati Radharani out of so much of devotion and love towards him. And we'll dive into the little small nice pastime later on, but that is what is the essence of Radhakund, that it was created by Srimati Radharani out of her devotion and love towards Krishna, and that's why it became very dear to Krishna. So as we may have read several times in Srila Prabhupada's books, it says that Srimati Radharani and Krishna are actually non-different. They're just an energy of Krishna. It is the internal potency of Krishna, also known as the Hladini Shakti. And the expansion happens primarily because of Krishna's desire to perform pastimes. Right? Otherwise, one should not definitely consider as them as two different entities. They are actually Krishna himself is expanded to perform pastimes, right? And we also see in the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the combined, he has the mood of Srimati Radharani, trying to understand what is so nice about being a devotee, right? A supreme devotee, that they are enjoying more than I'm enjoying being their supreme Lord. So that is the exalted position of Srimati Radharani. And whatever seva she is performing to please the Supreme Lord, nobody can match that. So in terms of whether be it her cooking or whatever paraphernalia that her sakhis and servants are creating every day throughout the Leela, that nobody can match. So that is something that is very, very dear to Krishna. So anything that is again associated with Srimati Radharani becomes automatically very pleasing to Krishna. So another thing that by which Srimati Radharani charms Krishna is by her service attitude. So Srimati Radharani being like, you can think of her like she's bridging the gap between Krishna and the devotees. On one side, she is being very dear to Krishna, where Krishna is all attractive, and the all attractive is himself getting attracted to another entity, right? So that entity is Srimati Radharani. Now, what does she do? She entices Krishna through her nice devotional attitude, and she is setting the high benchmark that if you want to please Krishna, this is the level of standard of service that you have to offer, right? And on the other side, where we are like fallen souls like us, where we are the jivatmas, right? So towards us, she acts as the bridge to get to Krishna. So we, as Srila Prabhupada says many times in the purports and lectures, that we cannot approach Krishna directly. So the several means that they have been given, like through Guru and so on, but one of the ways is through Srimati Radharani. So in fact, in our Brahma Madhya Gaudiya Sampradaya, it is said that we are interested in Krishna because Srimati Radharani is interested in Krishna. Otherwise, we have no interest in Krishna. So to that extent, that is the exalted position of Srimati Radharani within our own parampara system. So given that in the context of Nectar of Instruction, this verse, it goes on to show why the Acharyas have considered the Radhakunda as the most supreme spiritual place in the material world, compared to anything else, like even Govardhan Hill or Mathura or even Vrindavan, the forest of Vrindavan, and even Vaikuntha Lokas as well, right? And as you see throughout this purport, you will see different, majorly three category of people who have been commenting on Radhakunda, the glories of Radhakunda, right? So we'll see one by one on who are those different people. The first among them are the sages, the great sages who have been trying to glorify Radhakunda. So one of them, one of the glories that they say about thing is, like I mentioned before, Radhakunda being created by Srimati Radharani herself is very dear to Krishna. So that is also accepted by these great sages, right? And then whatever Krishna likes about Srimati Radharani, even all the other things that are created by her also become endearing to Krishna. So he doesn't just get attracted to Radharani, but also anything that she creates or that belongs to her becomes automatically dear to Krishna as well, right? Then they also go on to say that attaining Radhakunda, like, is very, very difficult even for great personalities who are fully engaged in devotional service. It's not that they can't attain, but it's very, very difficult. So when we say attain Radhakunda, what do we mean? Like, it's there in the material world. You Google, you'll find the address also of Radhakunda, where it is situated in Vrindavan. So can we not just go there and spend time, and can we not call it as, oh, I attained Radhakunda, right? So actually, what acharyas say in the true meaning of attaining Radhakunda is, we through our material eyes are not able to see the leelas that are happening every time. All throughout the day, there is Leela happening between Radha and Krishna and the Sakhis and the Manjaris there. We're not able to see that, and we're not being able to become parshads of those pastimes. So that's what they mean by saying attaining Radhakunda. Like, being so exalted that you become one of the gopis or one of the Manjaris in that pastime and directly participate in that. So that is what they're referring to as attaining Radhakunda. Then the other thing is, we, as in the process of progress in devotional service, right now in the beginning stages, or for most of our life, probably we'll be performing Vaidhi Bhakti, right, which is following the prescribed rules and regulations of deity worship, or just the devotional service, which involves following some regulatory principles, some rules and regulations, and things like that. So till we transition from Vaidhi Bhakti to Rupanuga Bhakti, which is spontaneous love for Krishna and Srimati Radharani, we will not be able to attain Radhakunda. So again, one of the qualifications is being said by the great sages, that if you desire to attain Radhakunda, that is, you want to become an associate of the pastimes, right? So the entry ticket is you have to transition from Vaidhi Bhakti to Rupanuga Bhakti, which is spontaneous love, though. So at that level, you don't need to have these rules and regulations. But it's not artificially that you're breaking the rules, but it's just very spontaneously you're having the bhakti. So until you are at that level, we are not qualified to be, or not qualified to say that we have attained Radhakunda. The other comments that you see in the purport is from Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. So what does he say? He's saying basically that once a devotee, a devotee will obtain pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis if he once takes a bath, just once in Radhakunda. So just imagine the glory of this Radhakunda, that Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is saying that even one time taking bath in Radhakunda will be enough for somebody to get pure love of Krishna. So all of us are aspiring for love of Godhead. That's what the Krishna conscious movement by Śrīla Prabhupada is trying to get us. And Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is here saying that just even one time you take a bath in Radhakunda, you would be able to attain the pure love of Godhead, that is love of Krishna. So in this context, I also heard a very interesting pastime that I'll like to share. So it is pastime related to Sripad Ramanujacharya. So what he says in that pastime, what I heard in the pastime is, once Sripad Ramanujacharya, he's near a lake or a pond, and he's finished his honoring the Mahaprasad, right? So he's just washing his hands in the lake along with his disciples. So as he's washing his Mahaprasad in the hands, right? Those are the fishes in the pond. They get a chance to take that Maha from Sripad Ramanujacharya. So just as they consume, they immediately transform from fish to the four-handed form of Narayana in the Vaikuntha Loka. They assume that form and immediately they ascend to Vaikuntha Loka in front of the eyes of all the disciples, right? So these disciples also are very curious to know, how come the fishes just once they ate the remnants of Sripad Ramanujacharya's Maha, and then they are already elevated. So what I heard from the Acharya's explanation there was, it is basically two folds. One is to demonstrate that what is the potency of Maha, of a pure devotee. When you have full faith and you just able to consume that Maha, you can get elevated instantly. The other thing also is, it's an example for ordinary devotees who are not having that full Shraddha to develop that mood, that how to even look at remnants of a pure devotee and what it is capable of doing to you. So in that sense, they're connecting it to Radhakunda and saying the potency of Radhakunda is so much that just taking bath once can elevate you to the position of pure love of Godhead, which we are all struggling many lifetimes. I don't know how many lifetimes will take, but just once it can give you that. The other thing also, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī says that if one is not able to live on the banks of Radhakunda, right, is recommending that he should at least try to take bath as many times as possible in the lake. That's the second opinion, or second instruction that is given. Then this is considered by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī as a very important item in the execution of devotional service. So that's his opinion. So this is the instruction. First, we heard from the sages what they think of Radhakunda. Then we heard from Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, who is emphasizing on taking bath, residing on the banks of Radhakunda, and emphasizing that even just once you take a bath, and you can get elevated to the state of pure love of Godhead, right? Then the other thing you will find in the purports here is comments from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So what he's saying that if somebody is interested in making advancement in the devotional service, similar to the level that is the gopis and the Sakhis, the friends, the close friends, and the Manjaris, right, of Srimati Radharani, if you're aiming for that, Śrī Radhakunda is your place. That is the place to be, right? And then it's not directly mentioned in the purport here, but I did read about in the same context that there is Ashtakaliya Leela going on, and Ashtakaliya refers to 8 time, the 24-hour being split into 8 windows of different times, 6 about 3 hours window, and then each window has a different kind of Leela being performed by Srimati Radharani and Krishna along with the other gopis and manjaris, right? So that is also possible to be like, you can become partial to that pastime or that Leela only if you're elevated. So even if you're on the banks of Radhakund, like when you go, we all cannot see that, but that is going on all the time. So if I were to just like draw a high level summary or conclusion of what we see from the purports, essentially is, to live on the banks of Radhakund or to bathe daily, it is considered by the purport or the verse as highest perfection of devotional service. So if one is able to do that without committing offenses or without violating any of the rules and things like that, that is considered as the highest perfection of devotional service. Because by simply performing these rituals of being on the banks of Radhakund and bathing daily, you are able to get the ultimate goal of human life, that is the prema of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The other thing also is, it is very difficult, like it quotes in the very beginning, even great sages like Narad Muni or the Sanaka, the fourth Chatushkumaras, they are also not getting a chance to even bathe in this. So it's not very easy to attain that position. So that's another thing, that you cannot just aim for it and say, okay, I'll just go and have the bath and maybe I'll also get elevated. It actually is the other way around. So until you are elevated, you will not see an effect. You might actually end up committing some offenses at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So the other thing in terms of conclusion that I can draw from is, by serving Radhakund, one can take an opportunity to become an assistant. Like when I say serving, it is really honoring Radhakund for what it is, for its supreme position in the spiritual hierarchy. And one is fully aware of the Radhakund. Actually, one of the nice words I read here is Radhakund conscious. Like if you are, how you say Krishna conscious, you say Radhakund conscious. One is to know the exalted position of Radhakund itself, and to be able to perform your devotional service in that mood. So that is what will help you, elevate you to one day become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. So I'll stop here and then I just have a quick question to all of you then. So does this mean at face value, when you look at the purport, right? It's clearly recommending go stay in Radhakund, take a bath in Radhakund. So should we all go there? And just take a pause and find out what you all think. Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Though the purport says that taking bath in Radhakund is very auspicious and it's really good that you will grow in devotion, all these things. But as per our ISKCON, our Prabhupada Parampara, our Gaudiya Mat, especially from Prabhupada, we all being the descendants of Prabhupada, he is advised us not to take bath. He's advised us not to take bath because we in the human platform, like very materialistically, we see Radhakund as just a sarovar, like a very small water body, and we tend to do offense towards it by swimming in there and playing in that. Actually, Srimati Radharani is a personified form of water who is present in Radhakund. So that is why Prabhupada has specially told no ISKCON devotees would take dip in Radhakund. Just sprinkle the water to get the mood. Even that is better.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice answer. That's exactly right. That is the perfect instruction from Srila Prabhupada. And he, in fact, this has come up multiple times, probably in his early disciples were there. And he has given a very clear instruction, like what he said, Mataji, that he quotes a very nice thing there. He says, service now, samadhi later. And he's giving more emphasis on perform the preaching, which is the essence of our movement. And you will have to be elevated, so elevated to even go or think about going to take a dip in Radhakund. So the recommended way would be what Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas are saying is, if you really want to go there and still honor the Radhakund, you can sprinkle yourself with 3 drops of from the Radhakund on your head and just remember the glories of Srimati Radharani. That will be enough to take her blessings. So all we are capable of at this point, and wherever the platform of bhakti we are performing, is we can visit the Radhakund, maybe like in a yatra, what we'll do, like Govardhan Parikrama or some other yatra, and stop by at Radhakund, very respectfully be at that place and just sprinkle the water, maybe 3 drops of water on our head, and just seek for the blessings and mercy of Srimati Radharani, that, I'm so fallen that I am not even qualified to be here, but I'm here just to seek your mercy, right? So that I can develop some devotion. I don't have a drop of devotion, but please give me a drop of devotion. So that is the mood that Śrīla Prabhupada is encouraging the devotees to cultivate. The other thing is some other references to Radhakund and how other Upadesamrita is what the word is being used, is how they have abused Radhakund. Is a lot of these non bona fide paramparas, they people go there, they pose themselves as monks or sages and things like that, and they perform all sorts of abominable things on the banks of Radhakund. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj, he says that anybody who has performed such kind of abominable act, right, they will surely end up being born as a pig or a monkey or something in Vrindavan, and they have to elevate themselves again to come to the platform of human platform, and then go through the purification process to elevate themselves to the platform again. So even a small offense that you might commit, which is unknown, can land you in big trouble with the things. And I also came across a couple of very sweet pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami, which is on the banks of Radhakund. So one of them was, these are all witnessed by Sanatan Goswami. One of them is when Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is chanting very deeply, he's immersed and he's not aware of what is going on around him. He sees that Krishna is holding a stick and standing near him. So the reason being that he's so immersed and he's not aware what is going on. There is a tiger which approaches the pond, the lake, and it wants to drink water. So Krishna is personally guarding the tiger guarding Srila Raghunath Das Goswami from being attacked by tiger. The other pastime that Srila Sanatan Goswami witnessed also is one on a very hot day. Again, Raghunath Das Goswami is not even aware of the surroundings. It's so hot and all. So he's seeing that Srimati Radharani is personally giving him the shade through the veil of her sari, right? So after witnessing this, Sanatan Goswami approaches Raghunath Das Goswami and says, see, you're doing all this chanting. The real purpose of this is you're asking for seva from Krishna and Radha. So is it right that you'll make them work for you, or you should work for them, right? So that's when he recommends that, why don't you build a cottage for yourself and secure the place and then sit there and nicely perform your things, so that you don't put Radha and Krishna under your own, service. Rather, you should do the other way around. So that is one nice pastime. I'll take a pause here and then just quickly cover the Bahulastami pastime. I think yesterday, as per Vaishnava calendar, it was 13th of October was Bahulastami. So just before I said, does anyone already know of the glories and would like to share? That's also fine. Anybody knows of the glories of Bahulastami?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Prabhuji, whatever I have heard that Bahula is a cow, which Krishna loves, and there was an incident like one tiger was there, and he was coming to eat his. Cannot remember like that. Prabhuji, please.
You're right. You're right. It comes to eat that cow itself. Like saying, I want to eat you.
Yeah.
Do you recall anything else about that?
Prabhuji, please, you explain that. Actually, I just cannot recall the whole thing.
But that's right. You're absolutely right. The pastime starts like that. So the origin of Radhakund is also said to be on the 8th day of the waning phase of the moon in the month of Kartik. And as I said before, Radhakund is non-different from Srimati Radharani. It's Srimati Radharani herself, right? And then the explanation of this beautiful pastime is coming from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 36th chapter, verse number 16, from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So he's explaining this, that what is the pastime of Bahulastami and how is it in a connection with Radhakund, right? So he's saying this Bahulastami pastime is named after the cow Bahula, who takes shelter of Krishna. So basically, on the banks of this Radhakund, where this pastime happens, there is a tiger, which basically Bahula is the cow is grazing on the banks, and then tiger is attacking her, and she's saying, "I'm going to eat you now." Right? So the Bahula cow is requesting the tiger that, "Please don't eat me now. I will have to go back, and definitely I promise you I'm going to come back once I inform my master, and then there are calves to feed. So I'll finish that work and come back, and definitely you can eat me." So it goes back to the master, who is a Brahmana, and then there is a calf as well. So Brahmana, after hearing the story that this cow has to sacrifice itself, he's really like his heart melts, and he's feeling very sorry for the cow. He says, why you're going alone? Let's all go together. So himself, the cow, and the calf, all of them go together. They stand in front of the tiger and they say, "See, you wanted to eat us. Now we all have come here. You feel free to eat us. Have a nice meal." And then the tiger is now busy thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get a nice meal today," right? And just before it starts to pounce on these people, Krishna appears, right? And he says that, "Please don't kill these animals. And in return for that, I'll assure you that you will have eternal glory. Just because you spared this cow and the calf and the Brahmana, your glories will be eternal, right? Everybody will remember you for your glorious act." And then the tiger obliges, and it doesn't eat the cow, as it was thinking, "I'll have a nice feast," right? So that's one thing where on the banks of, I think it says Kunda, I think it's probably Shyam Kunda or Radhakunda, I'm not clear which one. There is a temple in showing this pastime of Krishna, then there's cow, then there's tiger, calf, and Brahmana there. And then the other thing about which I read about Bahulastami is when Krishna is killed the bull demon, Arishtasura, right? So this bull demon is coming into Vrindavan. It's wreaking havoc, right? And it's just basically terrifying all these animals like cows and even the residents of Vrindavan. And they all cry for Krishna, saying that, this terrible demon has come in, and can you do something to save us, right? So that's when the Supreme Lord comes and intervenes, and he challenges Arishtasura, saying that, you are such a low animal, low-born animal. Why are you doing all this? What are you going to get by doing all this and troubling these residents of Vrindavan? What are you going to get? And then it's as if maybe that's not listening to Krishna. So it's in a challenging spirit. He also challenges the Arishtasura demon, says, "Let's have a duel." So he's going to come charging, and that's when it's nothing for Krishna, right? He's swinging it, and in no time he kills the demon, right? From that, he comes back, and then the gopis are, when he's back to gopis and Srimati Radharani, they all tease him that, what a big sin you have committed by killing a bull. A bull is supposed to represent religion, right? And then dharma. So why are you killing it? And you have now committed a very abominable sin. Although he's not a sinful person, he cannot commit any sin, but he's just teasing him. So then he says, "Okay, I'm going to purify myself." And that's when the origin of Shyamakunda happens, that he creates a pond for himself, and then he purifies and takes a bath, and he purifies himself. Then, out of the deep love and spiritual competition, these are the two words that the acharyas use. They sing, out of deep love and spiritual competition, Radharani and her Sakhis, right? They create Radhakund as a response to that, and say, "We'll create something even more glorious than what you have created." And then Krishna is so impressed with that, and he says, "Forget about Shyamkund. I like Radhakund even more." So that's how this pastimes I read when I was reading about Bahulastami and the origin of Radhakund. So, any other reflections? What 3 more minutes? That's all I had to share today. Anything, any reflections, thoughts, questions?
Prabhu, very nice pastimes, everything. So much relishing each and every pastime, and it's so that even the Nectar of Instruction 11th verse is ending on the same day as this. Very nice. Just I wanted to add only small detail, like the Shyam Kund, it's in a very different shape. It doesn't really have a shape. It's just some, you can't say it's a triangle, rectangle, no shape. And whereas Radhakund, it's a square. So you say that Shyam is very difficult to know. So it's always, the shape is also like that. Radha is more merciful, so it's only a square.
Nice. You are Vrajavasi, Mataji, so you will definitely know more pastimes to share with everybody else. Yes, thank you for sharing.
No, Prabhuji, little experience I have, so just sharing that.
You have been to the place? You have been to both of the places?
Yes, Prabhuji, I've been visited Radhakunda and Shyamkund.
Oh, very nice. I have not had that good fortune still, so I don't know when, but someday.
Explaining so beautifully, that means you're already there in that consciousness.
Definitely some mercy someday will end up being there. Anybody else has any thoughts, like reflections or comments on the purport?
Even Pandavas reside in one of these kunds. I don't know which kund it is exactly. As 5 trees. They reside in, I think it must be Shyam Kund only, or I don't know if it's Radha Kund. So when they were making this renovation of this kund, so they were planning to cut down these trees because they are looking like, as Mataji told, the shape is not proper, right? They will plan to cut out these trees. So that night in dream for, I think, our Goswami, some whoever was the authority at that time, they get dream that they are Pandavas and they don't want to, please don't take us away from that place. So that is the reason they don't, they did not cut those trees and they just let the trees be there. And leaving the trees, they built the boundaries.
This is for Shyam Kund Singh or Radhakunda?
Exactly, I don't know. I think it should be Shyam Kund only.
Okay. Very nice. As one thing I noticed about this is, it very clearly every time somebody writes about this, they are saying the glories of Radhakunda are unlimited. So maybe we won't even know pastimes
I
also.
think one more pastime is there. No, I think Akbar. Akbar also, he had come with his 10,000 army, like soldiers. So when our Goswami was sitting there and meditating, they were very thirsty. They came and asked, where is any water body that we can drink? So Acharya will show that you can take water from this place, pond only. So they will say, what are you saying? It's very funny. We are more than 10,000. How will this be enough for us? Like, not just them, even their horses, so many of them with them. So he will say, no, for everyone this will be enough. And then to their surprise, all of them will drink water and they're all satisfied. Still the water will not finish, but it's still coming up. It's ever coming up. Like it never got off with water. This is one more famous pastime of Radhakunda.
So we can go keep listening. They're so nice. Actually, each one of the pastimes are actually so nice.
Yeah, unlimited glories of Radhakunda, yes.
So fortunate we are reading in Kartik month also, right? So nothing better than that.
And another thing, they say that on this day of appearance of Radhakunda, very huge number of people gather in Radhakunda actually. So around, there is one Muhurta time, that is that proper Ashtami time. So I've heard that something like a very, like milk kind of thing that gets released in water on its own to show up that it is the perfect time of that Radhashtami. So people then take dip in that Radhakunda. Around, I think it's around night only sometimes.
I think around 12 o'clock or something. I don't know. I read something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, very nice.
Radhakunda is very merciful. Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice class, Prabhu. Thank you. Very nice stories, pastimes.
Right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please.
Prabhuji, as we have learned that until and unless we are not purified, we should not go to Vrindavan. But Prabhuji, how I will know that I am purified or when I should go to Vrindavan? Because sometimes I think I want to see wherever Krishna made his pastimes. But I actually want to know, Prabhuji, how I'll understand that I am purified or I should go to Vrindavan.
Sure, I'll give one answer, Mataji. Maybe other people also can pitch in and answer. My understanding is that clear instruction from Prabhupada is one is take guidance from spiritual master. So either we have other Vaishnavas or senior Vaishnavas who are having experience in Krishna consciousness. And even if you plan to visit along with them, because devotees can guide you, give you the right perspective of how to, honor each place, how to exactly look at a site, and not like through mundane eyes, right? Like you don't want to be like a tourist in that place, right? So one thing is being in the association of devotees. If you're not having a spiritual master or access to a spiritual master, you might visit some senior devotee, and if they're doing a yatra, you can go along with them, so that you are definitely being guided, right? So you will not take independent steps, or the chance of you committing an offense knowingly or unknowingly is very less. Now, as for our qualification itself, like when do we become eligible? I don't think, this is my opinion, that I don't think as disciples or the process of this bhakti will ever reach a stage where we can call ourselves independently qualified. It's more like, somebody is being merciful, either the Vaishnavas, the Acharyas, or Srimati Radharani herself. Like, the situation gets created for you where without effort, you're able to visit that. And you also visit in the right mood, hear about the right pastimes, and learn about it, right? So that is the right way to approach Vrindavan. And that's my understanding of this. I think Lalita Mataji or even Rajika Sudhay Mataji can add on to it.
Prabhuji, one more question regarding this point. Prabhuji, sometimes happened in everyone's life that they don't get this opportunity to associate with, they are going to Vrindavan, they are not getting the association. So in that case, Prabhuji, if someone wants to go to Vrindavan, alone, so what would be the step for that person?
It's even for, like, I can say from what Guru Maharaj this recommended is the holy dhams, right? They're like a double-edged sword. Like if you go there and do something very auspicious, like chant nicely, perform the devotion nicely, the rewards are also very high, like 1 to 10,000 or 1 lakh times, that kind of reward. But on the other side, if you go there and commit offenses, like unknowingly talk something about some place, or some even the animals which you encounter, like the monkeys or any other thing that you meet randomly, we should not take it on their face value. Oh, this is a monkey, I can treat however it wants, or this is just a pig, it's in the gutter. See, we talk very lowly of that particular living entity. That's also an offense. So that is the biggest danger. Like if you're not getting the association but you have the desire, I would sincerely say continue to pray. It will definitely come, and that situation will be created for you where some way or the other you will get the association. And that is the mercy that is flowing in, not because of our qualification, but purely because of our sincere desire and prayers. The reciprocation happens. And somebody will come and somebody will approach and somebody will ask you, hey, we are going on this yatra, do you want to come? Right? That is, I feel, the most safest way to not commit an offense when you're in that. And as for timing, how long, right? It's recommended generally to not stay more than 2 or 3 days, because that's enough for you to cover in the association of devotees, at least important sites, and go around the parikrama and all that stuff. Beyond that, there is a possibility like your clock is ticking, because you will get to your older habits of talking stuff that is not around bhakti, not around the right things, and you will inadvertently commit offenses. So 2 or 3 days maximum.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yep. And anybody else wants to add?
Absolutely correct, Prabhu. Thing is, we don't have the Jnana Chakshu. We just see the pig as the pig only, right? When we go to Dham, we see why. When we read in books, Vrindavan is like this. We like so much. We are thinking. We are just seeing some imagination. And when we go there, and if we don't find it to be like that, we're going to think, what? Vrindavan, I was thinking something, but it looks so ordinary. So maybe we may commit offense towards Dhamvasis or anybody. Even we may see, like what you told, any animal also. But everyone who is living in Dham is Dhamvasi. They are more fortunate than us. Even the pig maybe. Even pig, it has done so much devotion in its previous life, it's taken birth in Dham. That's all. There is no compromise on that point. So there is more for, like as you told, it is two-edged. If you do good, you're going to occur more devotion, and that path you will be growing. At the same time, if you're doing any wrong thing, it has the same effect on either side, the other side too. So it's always advised that you go with some person who is very good senior Vaishnava, who can let us know what actually we have to see there. Not that we are seeing Yamuna just, yeah, it's a river we are seeing. It's not in that sense, but let it be even in the true sense. Like, who is Mother Yamuna? How, what is the eyes that we have to look at her? Every aspect of Vrindavan will be seen when we go through proper Vaishnava. That is a sincere Vaishnava, senior, as Guru's instruction. These things